Welcome to the Spunky Spirit Podcast. I'm your host, psychic medium Carrie Muggs. This is where we learn all things spirit, everything from spiritual gifts, awakenings, ghosts, aliens, and starseeds. Nothing is untouchable, but always fun and spunky. I am honored to be on this spiritual journey with you, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Hello. Welcome to this week's episode of Spunky Spirit. I'm Carrie Muggs, and today we're going to talk about the third eye or the pineal gland. I call it pineal, but I don't really care how it's pronounced. You know what I'm talking about. It's the Eye of Horus. Have you ever seen the Egyptian eye? That picture of the Egyptian eye? And I, for a long time, just assumed it was a legit picture of an eye, like an Egyptian eye. But if you look at it, I guess when you look at the brain, it is the exact outline of the pineal gland, which is just it's a small pine cone shaped mass in our head. It's like shaped like a pine cone, but even though it's so small, it's located in the brain and it's responsible for producing and releasing a hormone. It's like super important. And I'm going to kind of give you the scientific background of the pineal gland, because the pineal gland it goes in connection with our third eye. So the third eye is the third eye chakra. It's like right in the middle of your eyebrows on the top of your forehead. And everybody talks about opening your third eye or having your third eye open. And I strongly believe that the pineal gland is connected to the third eye. And so do lots of other people. And there's a lot of scientific background behind the pineal gland, but I also feel like there's a lot of spiritual background behind the pineal gland. Obviously, the Egyptians thought that the pineal gland was super important too, and they have it in all of their hieroglyphics and all that kind of stuff. So the third eye does come from the pineal gland's primary function of, it's named after the pineal gland's primary function of letting in light and darkness. So it's letting in that light and the darkness combined. It doesn't just let in light, it's light and darkness, which in turn is our shadow work, right? And it's just like our regular two eyes, except for it's inside of our brain and it's a little tiny mass that's shaped like a pine cone. And I really believe that it's a connection or an antenna to source or to God or to spirit. So I really feel like it's a combination of that. The pineal gland functions in scientifically, it produces hormones, and probably the most influential hormones in our body, except for, some women would disagree because some of our hormones, like menopausal hormones, can whack you out pretty crazy. But it's the most influential hormones found in the body, melatonin and serotonin. And so the cycle of the pineal gland, is pretty simple. During the day when the sun is out and there's light, the gland produces serotonin. And in the dark or in the moonlight, it produces melatonin. So the pineal gland helps regulate sleep and our sleep cycles, which is awesome and crazy because just recently, I have found out it's just how important sleep is. It used to be in the day when you would hustle, forget sleep. But now, if you want optimal health and you want optimal spiritual awakening, sleep is super important. Sleep is where you get a lot of the work done. Like, sleep to me is when a lot of the spiritual stuff happens. So I think it's super important. Now, the Hindu system, it was also called not only the third eye, but the ajna, which is AJNA. Why is my voice so crazy today? And it said if this is closed, or this third eye or this ajna is closed, it can lead to confusion. It can lead to uncertainty, cynicism, pessimism. It's known to a lot of people as the seat of the soul. And I just believe that a lot of people think that it really has a lot to do with our dreams, which makes sense because we're sleeping, right? Astral projection, which makes that sense because we're sleeping. visions and dreams, and our clairvoyance, which a lot of our clairvoyance will happen when we're in the sleeping part of our life, or when we're during the sleeping part. So I fully believe, and so if you know anything about the clairs, then you would know that the pineal gland or the third eye has everything to do with clairvoyance. And clairvoyance is one of my strongest clairs. So my pineal gland's been working for since I was 5, or just kind of, and everybody's has been working, and but just some people maybe can it's just like golf. Everybody can play golf. Everybody has clairvoyance, but some people have it better than others. So if your highest one isn't clairvoyance, your biggest asset isn't clairvoyance, then it's probably one of the other clairs, like claircognizance, clairaudience, or clairsentient, which it's probably clairsentient. That's a really high one too. So the pineal gland also it also creates a function, or it's called DMT. I don't know what to call it. I don't know if it's a hormone but it's called dimethyltryptamine. I don't even know what that is. Dimethyltryptamine. It's called DMT. And it functions in the pineal gland. They've kind of had recent studies about this too. So the DMT is a naturally occurring substance that brings vivid visuals. I'm reading this just so you know. And it's vivid visuals and profound psychic encounters. It's the doorway to God from within and the subject of much excitement. So that's kind of like my own theory of it being like an antenna to source, or to tap into the source of the frequency of source. Certain plants also contain DMT, and that is why people like to do plant medicine, because it activates the pineal gland, which activates that antenna that connects you to source. To be honest, meditation, plant medicine, I've said before, it's all trying to do one thing. It's trying to connect us to source, to health, and the way we connect to source is to become healthy ourselves. The healthier we are, the more mental clarity we have, and the higher our frequency, or I believe the pineal gland decalcifies the healthier we are, and our connection is closer to source. So certain plants also contain DMT and are ingested ceremonially across the world to aid in this consciousness expansion, because we're all trying to access the divine, or the highly sought. And a lot of spiritual seekers will try and, do plant medicine or plant therapy to open up their pineal gland. I'm not saying try it. I haven't tried it yet, because I fully believe too that we have everything inside of us. Or anything that we do, meditation, plant therapy, hallucinogens, any kind of that is just, we're all trying to get to the same thing. We're all trying to get a higher connection to ourselves, our higher self, which in connection connects us to the divine and to spirit. And I believe we have that within us already. So, also too, animals also it was thought for a long time ago that just humans have the pineal gland, but they have also found out that animals have it. And I thought it was kind of interesting, because some of the things that they said about animals, it just kind of shows that it's like it helps us with the outside. So when unused, any muscle or organ becomes atrophied. I guess that means like non-working. So in humans with no reliance on the pineal gland, we've allowed it to become dormant. So that would be atrophied. And I might have said that wrong, because I remember one time, this is such a tangent, but I was reading in 3rd grade and I came across the word arithmetic, and I thought it was arithmetics. So I just don't, you know what, and I don't care. So don't message me, don't tell me. You know what I'm talking about. So it becomes dormant. Animals, on the other hand, they still use this, and they rely on their pineal gland to preserve life. So they've studies done on groups of animals working as one mind. For example, like when geese fly together, they do so in unison, and they communicate telepathically to where to move or where to go. And so it's kind of a one mind concept, and a lot of people think this is part of the pineal gland. In fact, animals' pineal glands are often much larger than humans, and it makes sense because as their sources of food and water have not been fluoride treated the same ways of ours. And so, just let me get into that too. There's a lot of people that believe that what happens over time is our pineal glands start to be start to get calcification, or calcium starts to go over them, or starts to cover them. So I was watching another medium or taking a class from her, and she said, "Don't drink dairy because dairy will clogs the pineal gland, or clogs your third eye." And I really, took into heart, okay, that must be the truth. It's not the truth for everybody. It's not. So I want you to be careful with this calcification. Yes, it has been proven that our pineal glands do calcify, and they get like this crystallization over them, and it is harder. And there are some people call it conspiracy theories, some don't, but that they are trying that, powers that be try to calcify our pineal gland because they don't want us to see the truth, and they want it to be dormant, and they want us to kind of be lethargic. And so lots of things, will kind of go over ways to decalcify a little bit, but just know this calcification thing, just because you have a calcified pineal gland doesn't mean you don't have gifts. Doesn't mean, so if I say, if fluoride is one of the things that calcify the pineal gland, it doesn't mean that if you use Crest toothpaste, or a toothpaste that has fluoride in it, that you're not going to be able to tap into your gifts, or do readings, or mediumship, or see spirits, or do psychicness, or have your clairvoyance. It just means that if you decalcify, you might have a better clarification, or the clairvoyance might be clearer. So it doesn't mean, so a lot of people think it's a myth that if you use fluoride or do these things, you won't be able to use your psychic gifts or your mediumship powers. It's not entirely true. It is for some people, and it isn't for others. So go with your own intuition and your own stuff. Okay. Don't just take what I say and be like, oh, well, Carrie says that dairy clogs your third eye. It doesn't mine. It doesn't mine, but it does some other people's. So just go with what you know. If you happen to use toothpaste that doesn't have fluoride in it, and you feel like your connection is clear to source, then that's obviously truth for you. If you have been using a fluoride treated toothpaste forever and you don't see a difference in your connection, then it's not the truth for you. It's always just kind of touch and go with your own stuff. So they say that fluoride does accumulate and calcify. So I'm just going to read an article because I want to have others' opinions in here, so you can kind of cut them up with your own. But this is from the Ulysses Press, and it says fluoride, for example, tends to accumulate at higher levels within the pineal gland than other parts of the body. This has the potential to lead to the pineal gland calcification or hardening, creating a pineal cyst, which may hinder or impair melatonin production. Which makes sense. Fluoride is a synthetic form, is one toxin that can weaken and otherwise negatively affect the pineal gland as well as other organs throughout the body. Increased fluoride from toothpaste or tap water or both can cause the pineal gland to harden and calcify. This may cause a decrease in melatonin production and disrupt the wake sleep cycle, which would be perfect if people did want to make it so we couldn't function with our pineal gland. So not only does it calcify our pineal gland, it disrupts our sleep patterns. And our sleep patterns are super, super important for our spiritual growth. I cannot emphasize this enough. A lot of people, please, those people out there that are saying, work, you don't need that much sleep, that is not true. I don't care who you are down the line. Some people can function on 6 or 7 hours of sleep. Some people can't. They need their whole 8. Just you find the sleep cycle that works for you, but do not, now when you have newborn babies and stuff, that's different, but do not, make sleep your number one priority for your health. It's just so important. Lack of sleep has been also attributed to some Alzheimer's and dementia diseases. So just know that sleep is so important. So it makes sense that, fluoride would do that, or fluoride would cause pineal, because if you're not sleeping, then the pineal gland isn't functioning correctly, right? Now, also alcohol. Alcohol now this is true for me. Now, it's not true for everybody. Lots of people can still connect when they have alcohol in their system. I tend to do better when I don't. So I don't drink very often. It's said that alcohol severs the connection from the frontal lobe of the brain to the rear lobe of the brain, which is directs our primal instincts of survival and procreation. So in effect, it shuts down the activity of the pineal gland, impairing our ability to think clearly and intuitively. And I got that information from mindbodygreen.com. So it's just a lot of different things. Also too, like people think that metal in your teeth, like dentists are probably going to hate me, but metal in your teeth, that also affects the pineal gland because there's something about that toxin that's in your body. So it may impair it and it may not. I'm just saying, just be open to the possibility that, and there's so many different opinions out there. Some mediums totally believe in this, and psychic gurus or spiritual gurus, and some spiritualists do not at all. They believe that it has nothing to do with anything, and everybody has, I feel like I hit like this, I treat this like, I just go over and over. It's up to you. Everything on this podcast is just an opinion of what other people think, and I like to give you both sides. Now, my theory is the pineal gland is super important to the third eye, to the clairvoyance. But that's my main clair. That's my main dominance. And I do see visions during readings, and spirits all the time will try and show me where people live, or phone readings, they'll try and show me what's in front of them, or they'll try and give me these visions, and I dream all the time. And so I do feel strongly about the third eye and the pineal gland, and I'm so fascinated with it. And I kind of do believe that it can be calcified. And because I remember specifically when I was in that Tinkerbell time moment that I always say, that, half asleep and half awake thing. And I saw this third eye, and it was completely opening. I saw this eye and it was opening. And I think that was symbolic of, my clairvoyance awakening. And also too, right before that, I had just attended a Tibetan bowl group, or Tibetan bowl class, and I had been in Tibetan bowl therapy all day long, and the Tibetan bowl sounds also help decalcify the pineal gland. And I had a huge headache, and I went home, and a couple of days later, I just had this vision of this eye opening, and then shortly after that, I had some back problems, which I feel like is also symbolic with the Kundalini, but it kind of all happened that way for me. Now, does it happen that way for everybody? No, it can take more time. Your third eye can take months or years to open, and sometimes it just depends on the person. So if you want, I'm going to give you some tips at the end on decalcifying it, or opening up, or doing all that stuff, and you try on your own. Try on your own what works for you, or what helps you to open it more. I do know that sometimes when I get too stressed out, or I don't have enough sleep, or my health is not great, I will have dreams, and I will walk around, and I'll be trying to actively live my life in my dreams, and I can't see anything. My eyes are shut and I can't see, and I'll be trying to do all these things throughout the day of my life in my dreams, and I can't, because I can't see. I'll be I can't see, my eyes are shut. And that's a clear indication to me from spirit that my pineal gland, or my third eye, is closing. So ways to decalcify it or open it, I think it's kind of different. Opening up your third eye can be a lot of things. It can be and decalcifying can be the same. They can be simultaneously. They can also be different. I think meditation is huge. Meditation is really, really big. Some people do plant medicine. I cannot tell you how that works, because I've never done plant medicine, and or the hallucinogens that can cause that. So, I know that in my family there is an addiction tendency. and I just don't want to mess with that right now. So I haven't used any kind of plant medicine or any kind of that to help me with my spiritual growth. So I can't really speak for that part of it. I've heard great stories about it, and I've heard really scary stories about it. So that kind of do it your oon. Maybe I will do a podcast on it and just give you different opinions and different what's out there, because lots of people seem to be doing that right now. But just know too, you already have everything you need inside of you. Healing, EDMR therapy, counseling, being out in the sun every day, sleeping, having good sleep patterns. This helps your pineal gland to be the antenna that you need to connect to spirit. So just taking care of yourself and doing those things also helps. Ways that you could, so Tibetan bowl massages, Tibetan bowl sounds, the crystal bowl sounds, that can help open your pineal gland. This is why people are kind of uncomfortable with the sounds. Like, I know that when you go to a yoga place, which yoga also helps open the third eye or the pineal gland, because it stretches and moves the energy throughout your body. Massages will help do this too. Lots of things, we have that pent up energy inside of us, those emotions that get stuck there. So anything like yoga and massages and things like that help the pineal gland. We move those toxins out. Just keeping your body and your mental capacity healthy will help the pineal gland to calcify. And let's see. So I'm going to have a list of, this is a list from Utopian. I think it's Utopian, theutopianlife.com. How to decalcify your pineal gland 10 ways. So this just says that the pineal gland receives high levels of blood flow. Secondly, only to the kidneys. It is also prone to calcification, which inhibits its function. So fluoride, chlorine, calcium are chief causes of calcification. So it says to avoid drinking tap water, switch to filtered water, which we know a lot of people already do this. Eat chlorophyll-rich foods. It can increase the leafy greens, detoxing qualities can decalcify the pineal gland. Have you guys noticed that when I read, I try to go too fast, like my mind goes da 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 da, and so I just can't say it very well. Antioxidants they put chaga tea, chocolate. Chaga tea is made from mushroom, which is plant therapy, plant medicine, which contains levels of antioxidants it's called SOD, which has antiviral, anti-inflammatory benefits, which at the end of the day, we want anti-inflammatory, right? We don't want our bodies to always be inflamed and puffy. We want anti-inflammatory. So there's also turmeric, and it also says to put your phone on airplane mode. I don't know if you guys follow Dr. Albius, or he's awesome. He's on, I follow him on Instagram. He says that when you sleep at night, to turn off your Wi-Fi, which the Tibetan bowl guy, my teacher who taught the Tibetan bowl class, also said this, to turn your Wi-Fi off at night. I don't do this, but lots of people say it. And also to put your phone at least 6 feet away from you when you're sleeping. So you guys, there's got to be something about sleeping, right? Like that antenna, your brain is so important. That pineal gland, that connection is so important. So also to switch your toothpaste. Most household toothpaste contain fluoride. And try coconut oil for brushing or mouthwash. I use a toothpaste called Tom's toothpaste, non-fluoride, and it helps. I can't really say I've seen a huge difference, but because I haven't really been paying it. I have always had the gift, right? Like and it did shut down for a while. I used alcohol to shut it down because I wanted to turn it off and numb and not have those feelings, those clairsentient feelings of feeling all those emotions or seeing spirits. But some people, they can drink alcohol and still have those experiences. I had one medium say, I heard she said she drank alcohol, but she had different, darker experiences with when she drank alcohol. Like the experiences weren't as uplifting and light. So, also too, apple cider vinegar, iodine, and boric acid is supposed to help. And something about check your nonstick cookware too. I've never heard of this one too. Nonstick pans and cookware are often made with Teflon, which can emit toxin components. So anything that's kind of toxin that goes into your body. So any of the chemicals, honestly, in your diet, like if you want to get that technical, some of in And foods. This is probably why whole foods are important and clean foods are important. But here's the thing. Do what you can. Don't like go gung ho and change all this stuff overnight. Do it a little at a time, just a little bit at a time. Like right now, if you need to work on your sleep patterns first, work on that. If you want to change your toothpaste, do that. If you want to cut back on alcohol, do that. If you don't. It's, if you feel like your connection is pretty awesome the way it is, then by all means, keep it the way you want it. But I'm just saying, from what other people have experienced and from some of the studies, I have no doubt that there is something about the pineal gland and your connection to source. And the pineal gland stays healthy with sleep patterns and your mental health. That's why it's in the brain. So, and it really has a lot to do with the third eye, the eye of Horus, the intuitive stuff in you. So, and since it's such like a antenna or such a connection, I really feel like it's really important that you do look into it, do your own research, and take care of it. Do the things you need to take care of your own pineal gland, because we're all different and it all works in different ways. So, yeah. So I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a little bit. I do have an online class on my website about awakening, and it does talk about the third eye and the chakras, and I do have a section in there that I do talk about the pineal gland, and I do show the pictures of the eye of Horus, and how I do have a little section that goes over the pineal gland. So if you're interested in that awakening class, it's an 8-week course. Every week you get something new in the course. You'll get a week about the clairs, you'll get a week about your guides, you'll get a week about the chakras, and it's part of your awakening. It helps you get through the craziness of the awakening. So if you're interested in that, that is on my website at carriemuggs.com under courses. So yeah, I hope that helps you guys. I really strongly believe the pineal gland is a huge part of my intuition, my visions, my things, but I'm a very clairvoyant person. Maybe someone with clairsentient, maybe it doesn't. Maybe the pineal gland doesn't work as much because they feel and they don't have the visions as much. And so they don't think it's an important part. So those of you that are clairvoyant, I think it's a profound part of our connection and spiritual growth. But it's all, just remember, I firmly believe, and I've said this so many times, and you guys know, your spiritual connection is related to, it's not something outside of ourselves. It is us connecting to spirit, but honestly, our higher selves and to ourselves. It's that pineal gland is the antenna to connect to our higher selves and spirit. And so it's really done within. And the way that we can clear this antenna or this pineal gland is to take care of ourselves, to go out in the sun, that's why I really believe a lot of people have the seasonal disorder, anxiety disorder. I do, because I need the sun, because I'm very clairvoyant and I need the sun. I need the sun to be healthy. And so I really believe that taking care of yourself mentally and physically, because the better you feel, the higher your frequency is going to be. And the higher your frequency is, the easier it is to connect to spirit's frequency. So that's my 2 cents. That's my belief and that's my experience. And that's not everybody's, and that's okay, because we're all different. So you find what works best for you. If you're more clairvoyant, I really feel like this will probably help you a lot. If you're more clairsentient and you want to work on your clairvoyance, I do know, as a collective, I do know Spirit's trying to work on everybody's clairvoyance right now. They want us all to see the truth. They want us all to wake up. They want us all to wake up to have frequencies. And a lot of us are really claircognizance, which is clair-knowing, and clairsentient, which is feeling. And Spirit really wants us to step up and work on our clairvoyance, because they want us to see truth. There's truth is coming, and they want us to be able to see it. Whether the truth is already here and we've been kind of blinded to it, I don't know. Or whether we're just going to start seeing the truth. I just know that Spirit collectively is working on everybody's clairvoyance. So that's why I kind of thought it was important to do a podcast on the third eye and the pineal gland, so you could work on your clairvoyance. Because even if you're clairsentient, and even if you're claircognizant or clairaudient, clairvoyance is going to be pretty important here coming up. And so we all have all the clairs. Some of us just have stronger clairs than others, and most of it is clairsentient. But I feel like clairvoyance is really starting to come into play. So I just thought this would be perfect timing for this podcast. So hope that helps you guys. I love you so much. I am going to continue doing the every other week podcast through August, and then coming September we'll go back to the one a week and see how that works. So I love you guys so much. I really, really do. I love you, and I mean it. I'm not just saying this to like have something to say or I just know I wouldn't be here without you guys. So many times I run into people and they're like, I listen to your podcast. I listen to your podcast. And I just, it humbles me. It humbles me that I can share my experience and it helps you guys. I really love that. So if you have any ideas or you want to know about something, please email me at Carimugz, CARIMUGZ.com, or go to the comment section on my website and list something in there, because I'll research it. If I don't know it, I'll research it. So there you have it. Hope you guys love it, and I hope you work on your clairvoyance and get your sleep, and also to remember, always be kind. It's a hard world, and you never know what somebody's going through out there. So always be kind to each other. Okay, I'll talk to you next week. If you guys loved this podcast, please share it with others that you might think will help them. And always